Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 6A. Yeah, that's right. I don't know why suddenly that just left my brain. But yes, we are now 6A, and this is the time of year that I normally start thinking about making my seed tape. So every year I make my own seed tape for my carrots because I just find it easier to plant my carrots that way. I don't have to think about spacing. I just put the seed tape down, I cover it with a little bit of soil, and I water it down, and it works. I've done carrots this way for the last 5-6 years. And I do have videos for most of those years that I have been making seed tape, but I figured I'd do it again because I always have slightly different varieties of seeds when I do this. Not that the variety of seeds matter, but it's just a nice little record of what I'm doing. So I have all of my carrot seeds right here, and I'm gonna take you over to my desk so you can see what I'm doing. I'm not gonna show you every single seed tape I make. I'll probably just take you through one variety, and then you'll kind of get the general gist of it. Because I don't want to overwhelm you with this process because it gets tedious and boring after a while. But for those of you who are interested in making your own seed tape, this is how I do mine. So I have a lot of different things that go into making seed tape. Of course, you're going to need your seeds. I have a guide, a key, a carrot key, if you might want to call it that, so that I can write on the seed tape what the variety is, but I don't have to write down the whole name. So this has just been building for a couple of years now. But the items you'll need for actually creating the tape, besides the seeds, is a ruler. This is going to come in handy in so many different ways. I have a plate where I will pour the seeds onto so I can find it. I have a bowl that I will mix some flour and some water together to make my paste. I use as a dipper to get the paste onto the tape. I use this reusable mascara wand. It's just the right size to get enough of the paste onto my tape. And then for my tape, I just use simple 1-ply toilet paper. Now I've been using the same 4-pack of toilet paper for the last 5-6 years, and I'm still going strong with this roll of toilet paper. I like to measure it out to about a foot, which is usually about 3 squares of the toilet paper. And so I'll break it off there. And then what I'll do is I'll fold it over. Just like that. And then you open it back up. I have to select what variety of seed I want. So what I'm going to start with my cosmic purple. I'm not entirely sure how many seeds are left in this pack, but we're about to find out. Okay. I like to usually do a full foot of one type of seed carrot. I don't think I'm going to get that out of this, which is okay. I do have a lot of other seed varieties, but we will just go until we have no more seeds left. Okay, this is where it gets a little fun, and it's a little bit like chemistry. The idea here is to get a little bit of flour, and then a little bit of water, but not too much because you want it to have a paste-like quality. So I'm just going to sit here and mix it and see how this comes together. And if it's not quite what I want, I'll either add more water or more flour. And right now, it's actually looking pretty nice. You don't want it super runny, because that might ruin your seeds and it won't hold together very well. It'll start to destroy the toilet paper. as well. So you want it more of this like kind of goopy texture. So I actually kind of like that. So I'm going to leave that there. See if we can set this back up. Now I'm going to set it, I mean, it doesn't really matter where you set this on the ruler, but I like to do my seeds about 1 inch apart. And I usually start at about 1/2 inch in. So what I'll do is I'll come to the middle of 1/2 of the toilet paper. So about right there. Get a dot in there. And then I'll just do that all the way down my strip. It'll end up being about 12 seeds. Oop. That's okay. It'll be fine. But then you get the fun part of trying to pick up the seeds. I usually like to get the tip of my finger a little bit wet because then it just makes grabbing the seeds easier. But sometimes you'll get multiples, which is fine. And usually when I'm doing this, I will have an audio book on. So after I show you how to do this first variety, that is probably what I'm going to do. This will take me a couple hours to do, but once it's done, it makes planting so much easier. I don't have to worry about thinning out the seeds or any of that. It's not going to want to come off. Okay, there we go. And then all you have to do is reclose this up. Press down where you've got the glue dots. And that'll just hold itself together. You'll have to leave this out to dry for about a day or so before you put it into storage. Okay, so this was what, the Cosmic Purple? I accidentally closed my Cosmic Purple. I usually write down as CP. And any utensil will be fine for this. Just in the corner, I'll do CP. There you go. That is one strip done. I think I'm only gonna get 2 more strips out of this. Yep. And that's a toilet paper done. I'll have to like stretch that out a little bit because it's going wonky on me. So I will go put this someplace safe to dry for the next 24 hours. Now usually, like I said, I like to do about a foot, and I believe that's usually about 6. Yes. So I do 6 strips if I wanted a whole square foot of carrots. And that's what I like to aim for. But sometimes I've got some fill-in space, so these smaller sets are okay. I'm going to carry these over to where I want them to go dry, and I'll be right back with you. So making seed tape really isn't that hard or complicated. You can do it pretty much with any of your seeds, whatever you really like to direct sow outside, and you don't really want to think about the spacing. I like this method because with carrots, you have to constantly keep them moist when you're first trying to get them started. And with the extra wrappings, with that tape, it keeps in the moisture a little more, because I don't do the wood plank method where you hide the seeds under a wood plank. I just plant my seed strip and it just does its thing. Now with the variety that I just did, with the fact that it's older, it may not have a high germination rate. I'll probably get a decent amount, but it won't be nearly 100% like it is when you buy a new pack. I do have some seeds that I saved from last year. Let me see if I can find them. So these seeds right here I saved from carrots that went to seed last year. And right now, tentatively, my plan is if I see bare spots where things aren't coming up, I'll just go in and I'll hand plant some of these just to see what happens. I honestly don't know what variety these seeds are, which is why I don't necessarily want to make seed tape out of this, but it's good as a backup plan. That's what's happening in my brain. So I'm going to spend the next couple of hours doing the other, I think I've got 6 more varieties of carrots that I want to make seed tape for. I'm going to do that. And then I think, what is it? Today is the 22nd, which I like to start my seeds inside around the beginning of February. So in about a week and a half, I'm going to be starting, well, onions, a lot of onions. So if you'd like to stick around and see how that process goes, feel free to subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I do also have an Instagram and Threads account if you want to go and check me out over there. I like to post things that really just don't make sense, making full-on videos. I've been playing around with shorts a little bit more, so that's a thing that's kind of happening. So I've got some reels up as well. But otherwise, I do hope I will see you guys again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.